Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is TheJackSilkstone. Today I have a very exciting video for you all. I'm going to be heading behind the scenes of Thorpe Park's brand new Fright Nights maze, Survival Games. Let's go. So, before we begin, I need to give a massive thank you to Thorpe Park for allowing me to film this video today. Obviously, I've filmed behind the scenes videos many times over the years, so I'm very excited to take you inside the new maze. Now, you can actually book your very own VIP behind the scenes tour of Survival Games, as well as of Creek Massacre and trailers, if you head to the link in the description. And you also get to visit a cool little Fright Nights museum and a recreation of a set where we filmed this year's marketing content. But yeah, today, as I said, we're going to be heading inside Survival Games. Now, I was lucky enough to spend a lot of time with UVE, the company that actually created this maze. So today, I'm not joined by anyone. It's just me and arch Nemesis on the camera. And yeah, I'm going to be telling you guys all of the facts that I've kind of learned along this way about this maze. So we're starting off, obviously, outside where we've got the beautiful facade for Survival Games, where we've got this hand-painted Wyval logo, which is of course the kind of symbol that popped up throughout all of the marketing for Survival Games. I'm sure we'll see it a few more times in there. But yeah, this was actually hand painted by UVE. Yeah, very impressive. Let's head in to the maze. Come on. So here we have our first corridor in Survival Games. Now this corridor obviously has these beautiful LED lights around each beam. And it's to kind of basically simulate the feeling of going into a game show, which is of course what Survival Games is all based on. So yeah, this is kind of like your entry into the Survival Games filming, where you obviously come into our pre-show, which is one of my favorite like pre-show concepts ever. Essentially, each guest is split off into their very own cage. So you can have up to 2 people in each of these cages. And then on all of the cages, they've actually got mag locks. So once a button is pressed, the cages will stay shut. And there literally is no escape for the guests. They feel like they are very contained. And then yeah, you've got a nice little TV over here, which is essentially just telling the story, a very brief story of Survival Games. And yeah, you've got kind of show buttons around this room, which the actors will press to kind of activate different effects in here. But yeah, essentially, the guests are split off in 2 directions, so you get the kind of instant, you're split up, you're screwed in this maze, right from the beginning. And we've also got, we'll get to this a little bit later on, but an actor corridor just down here, which heads down into the spine of the maze. So quick and easy access for actors. But one touch that I do love is that on the other side, there's actually some fake flaps. These go absolutely nowhere, but they've kind of done it to keep the symmetry of this room. So yeah, at this point, which way should we go first, Nem?
I think we should take a left.
This route right here. Okay, so the guests will obviously be put into a cage, and to the average guest, it's very dark in this room normally. You wouldn't expect anything to be behind here. It looks just like a normal wall. So they're kind of locked in a cage, like, let me out. And then every few seconds in the pre-show, the lights go off, and the actors have been trained on those moments of complete darkness in this room. They will pop through these flaps and essentially grab you through so that you're then on your own in this little corridor. So come on through, Nem. So yeah, as you can see, the actor in this room has this kind of CCTV display up here where they can see inside all of the cages. It's got a little thing on there at the moment where it's not in show mode. But yeah, they've got buttons here where they can activate the show, and they can see exactly who they're grabbing, so they can prepare themselves to grab and pull someone through. Very cool. So yeah, you then head down into this room. Now this is of course one of the 2 routes that you can take. We'll head out over to the other in just a second. But yeah, this is essentially the weapons room where you'll collect your kind of ammo and any accessories that you might then take into the Survival Games. So there's some funny props in here. We've got an old buckwheat jacket, which is of course a callback to the fact that Creek Massacre is in its final year, so you can kind of become a buckwheat in this maze. And yeah, this is where supposedly you'll pay a certain amount of points or social credits to get these items, and the more kind of clout you have, the better weapon you can get. So you can end up with just a frying pan, or you can get a nice guitar. Very cool room this. Got a nice little mannequin with a very weird gimp mask. I'm not a fan of that. Very strange. But yeah, you then come into this room where you get just kind of a few tips for what to do in the maze. A weird fact is that it's super hot on this side of the maze because the sunlight hits these walls all day, so it kind of heats up these rooms. And then yeah, if we come through into our first checkpoint, there are 3 checkpoints that you'll experience within the maze. And essentially they're supposed to just be kind of safe spaces where there won't be any actors. It was something that UVE kind of incorporated into trailers, in which you have those kind of break rooms between each major scene. And yeah, it's similar in here where normally there's CCTV up here of like the arena when the maze is in show mode. And then once again, we've got the lovely Wyville eye symbol. And yeah, we head into level 1.
And I love these screens as well because you get to see all the different contestants meeting their doom.
Yeah, essentially on the CCTV is footage from within the arena of contestants being brutally killed, basically. It's not nice to see, but it kind of sets you up for what to expect. And yeah, throughout this maze, there's a load of CCTV. Obviously, it is acting as real CCTV, but it also kind of gives the sense of you are being watched and surveyed as you go through this maze. So yeah, we then head into one of the first kind of major scenes in this maze, which is the freezer container. Essentially this one, you walk down this middle section, but on the sides you've got these flaps where the actors can basically hide and get you from any point. So you're super exposed in this maze, in this particular room, even though you might not know it. And yeah, you've obviously got some weird body parts here, there and everywhere. And then at the end, you've kind of got the crown jewel of this room, which is this character here. It has a name, but I'm afraid I can't remember it. They called it something, but it is insanely realistic. I don't even like being near it. And yeah, you've obviously got these fans, industrial fans, which have like a blue light just to sell the idea that you are in a freezer. Now this next thing, I don't really want to talk about. It's insane. If I bring your attention down here, Nem, it's definitely blurred whilst you're watching this video. So if you want to see it in person, you'll have to come here and experience the maze or the behind the scenes tour for yourself. But it's a bit of a graphic body part. And when UVE were creating this maze, I was like, is there any chance I can have an Easter egg? Because obviously I had my hat in trailers, I had my framed photo in Do or Die. It's something that I just like to have, it's very cool. And I was like, is there any chance I can have something in survival games? And if you bring the camera around here then, you can see there's a little tag on there which says Jack S. There it is. As you can see, it says Jack S, which apparently signifies that I don't even want to say it, it's too weird. But yeah, that's my weird Easter egg in this maze. No one has spotted it yet, so.
Very strange that. Very, very strange.
Very strange indeed. Right, we now move on to the kind of gas chamber room, where as you can see we've got some kind of fake kind of signage and some big old hazmat suits where an actor can kind of come from behind and jump out and scare the guests as they kind of make their way through. Now this is actually quite a funny piece of theming. This was used back in Living Nightmare for the first time. And then when we were filming the marketing set for this year, we actually took it over and used it as part of a locksmith lair. And because UVE kind of helped build us that set, they then thought, why not use it for survival games? So yeah, it's ended up in here. And yeah, cool little fact for you guys. So yeah, in this room you've got just kind of pipe theming, and there's actually a sensor just down here by which Nem has just walked past, which as you walk past will set off some smoke and lighting effects, which once again just kind of sells the fact that you are in this kind of weird gas chamber. And again, you have got a lot of access where actors can get into this kind of middle actors run, and they can jump out and get a nice scare as guests walk through. Now this door is normally shut, but we'll get onto that in a little bit, because the guest actually moves around here and down into this corridor where you've got a kind of toilet scene where normally you'll have a victim who's kind kind of trying to escape the maze, and this is your first time in which you will experience a victim in this maze who is obviously, just like the guest, trying to escape from the crazy rival killers. So yeah, all of these doors do open, and actors can kind of come through and get some very nice scares. And again, you've got some flaps here where an actor can run through and get another scare on the guest. And you've got some fake sinks over here. Give your hands a little wash. But yeah, very cool room, this one. And if we head through, we can come to our second checkpoint that the guests will experience. Again, on here, the kills will start getting more and more brutal as you go from checkpoint to checkpoint. So in this one, you're really seeing some pretty gruesome kills if you take a moment and look up at the CCTV screen. So the next room admittedly won't look very good on camera, but during the maze, this is essentially a very dark room where you're trying to find your way through. So a lot of guests will just come straight from that door and kind of go into these flaps and wonder where on earth they're going, hit this back wall, and eventually you kind of make your way around into the arena, which we'll get back to in just a second, because first of all, we're going to head back to the beginning through the actor corridor, and we'll show you quickly the other route. So yeah, just through the gas chamber room. As I said, we are now in kind of the central actor corridor spine of the maze. Obviously there's no theming in here because it's just a place where actors will kind of use to quickly get from room to room. But if we head through, then we find ourselves back in the pre-show, where we're starting again. If a guest is then put into a cage on this side, obviously the exact same thing will happen. They'll be pulled straight through these cages and into this corridor, which is obviously very similar. Now, Nem, if you just want to film this screen, it's a little bit easier to see. Hey, there we go. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about with the CCTV. If I was in here, then the actor would know to grab me and pull me through. Hello. So yeah, we start off on this side of the maze in a very similar way to the other. Once again, we've got a lot of similar theming. You've got all of the different weapons over here with the buckwheat jacket just behind Archie.
And don't forget, a cool mask, but not quite as cool as the other one.
It's not as weird as the other one, I'll give you that. But yeah, obviously very expensive to get the full armor piece. And again, we just got some tips and stuff. And then we head through to our first checkpoint for the guests on this side of the attraction. However, from this point is where you get a different experience if you go down this route. So it's obviously worth doing the maze more than once because you get a different experience every time. Now, this room is actually supposed to be like an electrical room in which basically you've got some actors that are able to reach over you. And it's a very, once again, kind of open room where you can get scared from any angle. So the actors can kind of stand on this elevated bit and they can basically reach down and grab you. Very scary room, this one.
I've been grabbed a fair few times from up here.
Very cool indeed. So yeah, we'll then head through into, I don't know the official name for this. I know it as the torture room. But yeah, essentially, you've got another victim in this room who will often be chained up from here, and they'll kind of be swinging around. If there's a lot of actors in on a particular day, you'll also have kind of an assassin in this room, basically just beating the person up and making their life a misery. But yeah, you get a beautiful view from up here. And again, you get access to the little actors run just through here. Now next up, we come through to one of my favorite rooms in the maze actually. You have a shower scene, which is kind of similar to the toilet scene. So whilst the routes are different, you have kind of similarities in the rooms, but they're not exactly the same. So an actor can kind of stand behind any of these curtains and then jump out and get a good scare on the guest. Now, UBE, when they're actually designing this maze, were telling me that this is one of like their staples when building attractions. They like having kind of like a corridor where they'll have things on either side. So in trailers, you obviously have 7 dolls where you're feeling like very, very exposed because they can get you from any angle. And it's the same with this kind of shower scene. Now, the interesting thing about this is that behind one of these curtains, you've actually got a little actors run which takes you straight into the toilet scene. So the actors that are kind of running around in this area can quickly scare a guest in the showers and then go straight through into the toilet scene and get a scare in there as well. Very nice indeed. Let's go for a quick shower and go on.
It's like amazing here.
Right, so then we head through here into, again, the second checkpoint, same as before really. And then as we go through, we get another dark container where normally when the maze is in show mode, it'll be completely dark in here. There'll be a lot of smoke and you won't know where you're going. So you have to basically feel your way through this container. I know people that have been in here for minutes, just lost and unable to find their way out. So here we go. We are now once again in the arena, which is about, I'd say between a third and a half of this building is just pure free flow arena. And at this point, an actor will normally be in here and they'll split the guests up once again and send half of them through this door into the arena, or they'll send the others down this way, which is actually a crawl tunnel. Now, normally, again, it's very dark in here, so they'll send guests under. But the funny thing about this crawl tunnel is that it's not a crawl tunnel at all. Essentially, when building this maze, they were like, if it's dark, we don't technically need to put a roof on this, because once a guest goes down, you don't really think to stand up because you think, well, I'm going to hit my head. So yeah, a lot of guests will just kind of clamber along, even though you can just fully walk through here. And yeah, there's obviously some themed details on the side just to give a little bit of texture to the maze. And then yeah, once again, you find yourselves in the arena where it's just a massacre in here basically. You've got kind of assassins running about all over the place. And the cool thing about this is there aren't many kind of hiding spots for the actors. They're basically just out in the open and they can get you from kind of anywhere. This is of course the route where you come to from the other side. So basically just anyone and everyone is in this arena. And the cool thing in here is that there's sliding doors. So they can basically change the route of the arena. And you can literally just end up doing circles because you'll find yourself going to a particular bit where you used to be able to go and then you can't. So yeah, very cool indeed. And there's some cool kind of scare features in here where actors can kind of jump through windows and give guests a scare. And yeah, people can find themselves in this arena section for so long. But just off to the side of the arena, you've actually got two shipping containers, and the first of which is kind of like a strobe section. So in here you'll have pretty intense strobes, and once again the actors can kind of just come up against the fences and give you some very nice scares. We've got a lovely haze machine down there, which once again just helps with the strobe effect, and just filling this room out. And then again, we've got another container over here, which is referred to as like the red room, the blood room, because it's, as you can see, it's just pure blood and red splatters all over the place. And yeah, the actors will hide behind these curtains and kind of jump throughout the maze. So yeah, back in the arena now. Again, there are so many different routes that you can take, and it was designed in that way to make you feel like you're lost and make it feel like the assassins are actually hunting you through this maze. But the route is to basically head to this back corner and then follow these kind of zigzags around. Again, in here we've also got some barrels which the actors can kind of use to get on different levels, and they make some very loud noises, which is obviously scary. Now as we kind of come through into this final corridor, normally this door will be completely closed. So guests will be kind of wandering around here, wondering where to go. And the answer is normally through these black curtains into probably one of my favorite rooms in this maze. When it's in show mode, you've got some gorgeous like blue lighting coming through here, so it looks like the outdoors. And yeah, this is where normally you'll be kind of put on your knees and basically just antagonized for a fair amount of time. I've been in here for a good few minutes. And then yeah, essentially, this door will open. And the character in the finale will basically beckon a number of guests through into this little area. That wasn't originally in the concepts for the maze. It was kind of just going to be open at all times. You could come to it from different directions. But the park kind of wanted guests to feel like they were genuinely trapped in there, because obviously if this door's shut, there is actually no escape to this maze. So they wanted you to kind of feel completely lost and only have like a window of time to escape when this door opens and you're let into this little room. So this is our third and final checkpoint within survival games. Now on this TV screen, you actually have a message of congratulations, because technically you have done it. You've escaped the survival games and you're a winner. You get that blue verification tick from Wyville. So you're then sent down this finale corridor, which as you can see has some beautiful LED lights on it. And an actor will normally be hid just around one of these two corners with normally a big hammer. I think I've only experienced like a big hammer in here. And as you walk past, they'll come out and basically chase you down this long corridor. Again, very similar to the entry corridor. And there you go. You'll come to the logo and you'll run out of the maze in this direction. Very nice. So there we go. That was a cool insight into survival games, obviously the brand new maze for this year at Fright Nights. And again, a massive, massive thank you to Thorpe Park for allowing me to come down and film within this amazing attraction. Again, the link to book onto your own VIP behind the scenes tour is down in the description. So be sure to go and check it out. A big thank you to artist Nemesis on the camera as well for this video, a little nod. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. My name's TheJackSilkstone. Goodbye.